And makeup isn't there to kind of cover anyone. It's not there to sort of say, hey, you know, you're fat, let's make you skinnier. Hey, you look old, let's make you look younger. It's not about that at all.
That's why we love you, Hilary, because you talk about that a lot in your stories and in your posts about makeup being something really positive. And I think many of us grew up with that, makeup's there to hide something, or to hide an imperfection, or to make you something that you're not. But actually, it's a part of just enhancing. And, you know, I know particularly in lockdown, if I put a bit of makeup on and lipstick on, I feel so much better.
Like, fuck off that expectation of us being a certain way and start going, whatever I have right now, whatever I've got to work with, we play with that. And my mission in life is to build a brand that has a very strong message around changing the direction of beauty and changing the way that we are conditioning women to think about themselves, to start owning their own beauty. So for you, what have you got right in front of you right now? And let's show that off. What I want to teach women is to adjust their makeups to suit that situation then and there, but to really enhance what they have right then and there, rather than trying to emulate a beauty that they will never get.
I thought that we could talk, you mentioned Face in 5, you know, about just getting something on to feel glowy and amazing. So I've got my supplies here, and I'm so, like, beyond excited about this.
Good.
Everyone's aware of that. So I'm just going to hand it over to you, Hilary.
Sure. I think first I want to pretend something. I'm a low high girl, so I have no loyalty to more expensive products or cheaper products. For me, as a makeup consumer and user professionally, I like to try everything out, but I am just as much a lover of a primer that's $9 as opposed to a primer that is $65. So I really want to make sure that women know that you can make anything work. Have fun with it. It's really not about feeling like you can't achieve it with basic products. It's really about, and what I'm going to show you today is how we can use a bronzer as an eyeshadow. If we're got screaming children next to us, we've got to go do the school run or the daycare run, and we've got a meeting on after that and you're running late, this is the kind of face you want to just chuck on. I like to use a buffing brush like this. This is the It Cosmetics brush because I like to kind of really work it into the skin. However, I'm a really big believer in sponges. Yeah, it's good to whack it on, but you're not really building up in the areas that you need. And then you've got dirty hands. So then you're like, ugh. Sponges are good for girls that have issues with redness or pimples or needing a buildup of extra coverage. A brush like this is really good at kind of buffing onto the skin.
I think I've got my fingers.
No, that's okay. As long as you're making sure that you've got relatively clean hands. Biggest thing for you when you're doing your foundation is to, when you're rubbing it all over, that's fine. But then in this area, start to kind of build it up a little bit in this area.
Okay.
So I'm going to shake my foundation. So you can just chuck it on.
So exciting. So now, do I put my foundation everywhere?
What I would just say is avoid putting too much around your eye area. Do you own a concealer?
I do own a concealer.
Great. So I'm just going to show you, so I've just done the foundation and I like it to be a little bit lighter because I like to place it. So you put one beside your eye just here because that's a dark area for it. And then you just kind of like dot it like that.
Loving it.
And then if you're exceptionally textured, just use your fingers and then pat on. So what we're going to do now is, depending upon your skin type, if you're, obviously this is 5 minutes, so we're not going to go too crazy with it. We're going to grab our bronzer. Oh. I'm going to get an eyeshadow brush now like this.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick it up like that. And I'm literally just going to chuck it down on my eyelid. I'm just going to pat, pat, pat on my lid and then sweep it through my crease. What? You haven't got a brush.
Do you want to know where my brushes are?
In your son's bed.
They're in the bin because I used it. We were having a craft morning, and anyone who follows me knows how I feel about craft, and I ran out of brushes, so I had to get my eyeshadow brushes. Now tell me, what are you doing under your eye there?
Well,
oh my God, this is so much fun. Can we do this every day? So
for me, I need to contour the shit out of my eye. Like, I need to get in there and really go around the boundaries of it because I need to make my eyes look a little bit smaller. With you, it's not so much about contouring or making your eyes look smaller. It's really about illumination and bringing forward. Don't go too crazy with your bronzer. I would say with your underneath, get your little pinky and get the bronzer and just rub it into your lash line underneath.
And what about the way we all go like this?
Yeah, I do it as well.
Like
I was talking, I'm like, someone said, have you had Botox? I'm like, yeah, but it's worn off now. Women always naturally raise a brow. We're all like, thinking we're
I love
hot.
it.
So now I'm going to go in with a face brush.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get the bronzer, and I'm literally just going to top of the ear towards the corner of the mouth. That's the rule. It's really important to kind of see, can you see how me just sweeping it through there has kind of created a bit more of a kind of cut? Yeah. And I've got a really big forehead, so I need to bronze it. Can you see how that's made it look a little bit smaller?
What would you recommend for a forehead like mine? Do I need to bronze?
I would put a little bit here maybe, because you've got a square forehead like me, so you just want to make it like a little bit more. Yeah, essentially like the rule is a 3. So you start here underneath the jaw and then there. Just make sure, a big rule is you never put bronzer in this area here. So the next thing is highlighter.
I've got a stick highlighter. I've got a stick highlighter.
Yeah, that's
fine.
You
do the brush.
I would actually put it on your finger and then tap it on. I'm going to go in with a powder, and I'm going to, what you want to do when you're applying highlighter is don't go in the dark area and put it on because you can't see it. So make sure you turn your face to where the light will hit it best. So I'm saying here, and then you apply it. And it's just to the highest parts of your cheek. And press. With creams, always press, don't wipe.
Press.
Yeah. So you do that. At the same time, to save a little bit of time, you can get that a little bit more highlighter on your finger. Yeah. I'm going to pick it up, and then I'm going to just chuck it on my inner corner. This is going to give you a bit of life to your eyes because you need highlight on your eyes to make them open up.
I wanted to ask you, in our face of 5, I actually had it written down. You know, mums need stuff that brighten and lighten. Yeah. When we're doing supermarket runs, and everyone wants to feel glowy, because let's be frank, for many of us, pregnancy doesn't actually make us glow. No. And this is where these tools come in. It's
more about the quality of all the type of products you're putting on. So it's not necessarily about blowing everything up. It's knowing that you're using the right foundation for your skin, using the right bronzer, highlighter, because you might find that with your skin, you do better with using cream. I find that I get a lot of vibrancy and luminosity through using artificial illuminators like this. These are really great to add in. So if you're going to the supermarket and don't want to do a face in 5, you want to do a face in 10 seconds, chuck a drop of that in with your moisturizer and chuck it all over your face, and you'll walk in and you'll be like, you'll see Louise from daycare, and they'll be like, you look good. What's going on? And you're like, nothing, I just moisturized. So something that's really important, obviously not so much for you because you have naturally amazing brows, is brows. So for me and girls that don't have much brow, you know, if you're going to focus on something, focus on putting a brow on, because a brow can really take off years off your face. So I just put on some mascara. So feel free to put some mascara on while I do a brow, because I'm going to talk about how important it is to get some color and some definition in your arch. See, once I've done it, I'm not going to do a really crazy big brow. I'm just going to do it enough to get me through, but you can see how that just lifts my face and gives me a bit more structure.
It's extraordinary.
It's just it's subtle. It's subtle differences of lifting, and you can see
it's amazing.
Yeah,
I do like a good brow though.
But think about it, in the 90s, the thin brow was the thing. So if you had big brows, you felt like you were an alien amongst all of it. Obviously, we're moving, what I hope we're moving towards is teaching women to just fuck off with trends. Let trends be a slight influence, but not let them dictate beauty. That's for me,
love
it's
it.
a big thing.
So that's a good thing in motherhood as well.
So all that's left and remaining to do, lip. Actually, you do a natural lip, and I'm going to show you how you can go from like this to something pretty wow by just using lip colour.
God, you look amazing.
So it's just the power of a lip, though.
And that's the thing, that they're just tiny little things. So there's some academic studies to say that particularly for mums after they have babies, that lipstick plays a really big role in connecting them to who they were before babies. I'm not saying we want to be who we are before babies, because babies should change your life. But what I'm saying is things about sensuality and your identity as a woman rather than just a mum, that lipstick plays a really big role. A bold lipstick plays a really big role in that. So I've been trying to do a nice strong lip.
This is a power play, you know, this is the moment. So it's funny you talk about this as a post-birth thing, because the first appointment I had back at GMG at Epworth after I had Adelaide, I wore this red lip, and I walked in there with a red coat on and this, and they were like, whoa. And I was like, and they're like, Hilary, you look amazing, because they'd seen me looking like shit for the past 9 months because I didn't care. But I was like, the first outing I had, I'm like, this mama isn't going to be defined. Yeah, I mean, it's not like telling the world that you got your shit together, because I've definitely not got my shit together, but I think it's about representing the energy that you want to be. And
that's true. It's about that energy and the energy that you bring to a space.
If makeup makes you feel good, let that shine. It's purely up to us on how we want to be represented, and that's why my message is very much about find what makes you feel good, find a beauty routine that represents who you are. You just got to find what works for you and make that representative of who you are authentically, I think.
I think so too. No one would be able to tell that you vomited all weekend and you've got pregnancy insomnia.
No,
Thank you for today.
No worries. Bye.